Welcome to Haunted Indian River County by Larry Lason. Indian River County is an idyllic vacation spot on Florida's east coast, not far south of Cape Canaveral. Known as part of the state's famed Treasure Coast, many are unaware of the deep and fascinating history this area played in the development of the Sunshine State. Also lost among its visitors and residents are the chilling stories of the hauntings that accompany this rich history. It is here that a man named Waldo still looks after his family and properties, 6 decades after his death. Or a retired preacher is seen digging up his hidden treasure, days after he died. Larry Lason spent more than 40 years in the law enforcement and criminal justice education profession. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree from Nova Southeastern University and a master's degree in public administration from Troy State University. He serves on the board of directors of the Indian River County Historical Society, is the director of the Florida Bureau of Paranormal Investigation, and is the owner of Indian River Hauntings, LLC, where he provides historical and paranormal tours and events. He has been actively researching the history and paranormal legends of the Treasure Coast of Florida since 2010. Larry is currently the host of Paranormal Stakeout radio TV show on the Exozone Broadcast Network and the past host of Encounters with the Other Side on WPSL Radio in Fort Pierce, Florida. Pre-order your copy of Haunted Indian River County by Larry Lason on Amazon.com today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Paranormal Stakeout. I'm your host, Larry Lawson. So glad to be back with you again on the CamCon Broadcast Network. It's beautiful down here in Vero Beach, Florida. And tonight I got a very, very special guest to join us. And Nathaniel Elwell is a paranormal researcher and investigator with about 19 years of experience in the field. He is the founder of Southeastern Ghost Research Association in Alabama and the Newport Paranormal Society in New Hampshire. He utilizes his skills to dissect and break down paranormal content on his TikTok channel to offer alternative explanations to videos. So that's going to be very interesting. In his spare time, he also tests paranormal applications on his YouTube channel. Looking forward to talking to him about that also. He recently published a book on the topic called Downloading for the Dead, Investigating Paranormal Applications, which is a big thing now, especially on phones. And he was recently featured on the cover of Paranormal Underground magazine, along with his partner, Morgan. He is also the host of Paranormal Unveiled podcast on Wednesday night on the All Access Network. With that, welcome my guest tonight, Nathaniel Elwell. Nate, how are you? Nate, can you hear me? Okay, well, he'll be with us in just a second, a little technical glitch there. But I do want to take a couple of seconds to spend some time talking to you a little bit about our show, what we try to do here. One of the things on Paranormal Stakeout is to bring on guests that are experts in the field, experts in the world of research, and have them share with us their thoughts and their philosophies. A lot of folks tend to look at the paranormal as just one area, but nowadays it actually encompasses cryptids and everything else. And there's Nathaniel with us. Nate, how are you?
Not bad, brother. How you doing? I apologize. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties over here. Your audio went out for a while and I couldn't hear you, and then I was having issues logging in with YouTube, but we're straight now.
No problem. No problem. So Nathaniel, assuming you can hear me okay now.
Yes.
Tell me, how did you get into the field? What brought you into the paranormal field?
So I always kind of had a general interest. One of the first books that I checked out back in middle school was the 13 Alabama Ghost and Jeffrey by Catherine Tucker Wyndham. And I was just fascinated since then. But growing up, I had a lot of experiences throughout the years. There was about a 5-year stretch where I was being negatively affected by something. Now, I'm not going to call it a demon. I don't throw around the D word. But I do think it could have been more of a nasty human spirit. It wouldn't let me sleep. I would have constant nightmares. And this all happened literally the week that my dog died is when it all started. She
Oh,
used to
wow.
sleep in my bed. She was a pit bull. She was about 16 years old, which is kind of old for a pit bull. And she had lost the abilities to control her facilities. So she had an
Okay.
accident in my bed, and I kicked her out of the room. And I remember looking down the hallway, and she was looking back at me as though she was expecting me to say, you know what, I apologize, come on back to the room, right? And I didn't. And the next morning, my father woke me up saying that Stormy had crawled up underneath an end table in the dining room and had passed away throughout the night. And it was shortly after that that I started hearing the scratching on the side of my bed. I had like a sideboard, and I'd hear
Hmm.
this weird, odd scratching noise. Now, I am OCD about doors being closed. I don't like open doors. Closet doors doesn't matter. And in my bedroom, I had a set of those French style doors that had the latch in the center, you know, the ones that fold outward.
Yeah.
I locked that up before I went to bed one night, and I feel this tugging on the foot of the blanket at about 2:30 in the morning. Me being me, still not exactly sunk in yet that my dog had died. I thought it was my dog.
Hmm.
So I kicked my foot back. I hit something solid, and I hear this. I'm gonna just describe it as a really guttural voice say my name. I rolled over, grabbed my flashlight after about 40 seconds, turned the light on, and my closet door that I know I had shut before I went to bed was wide open. Now, furthering on from that, it was about a week and a half after that that I started having violent nightmares of myself dying in various ways. Moving
Interesting.
forward from that, and it was almost in like almost 3 or 4 week increments, different things would happen. As soon as the nightmare stopped, I'd hear tapping on my window at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I have 7 witnesses that came and stayed the night at my house that heard the tapping on the window. And when I open up the blinds, there's no one there.
Okay.
And so
And
um,
so how old were you when this happened?
I was about 18, 17, 18.
18. So nothing when you were a kid. This is your first experience, is what you're telling me.
So I did have experiences from a younger age, but it happened more to my brother than me. I would
Mhm.
hear my brother in an old apartment that we used to live in rolling marbles down the stairs. And he would tell my parents that he was playing with the old lady at the top of the staircase. And obviously, no one else could see him or her but him. And I remember hearing the marbles, and then I would see him sitting still, but I'd still hear marbles going down the stairs, even though he wasn't doing anything with them. So I would say that was my first actual experience. And if I recall, I was around 7 for that.
Okay. But
And then
it was the incident with your dog that got you into the field.
correct, correct. So after the tapping on the window, about 5 months after that, I met my now ex-wife Teresa. We got married, and we moved into this small town called Clayhatchee, Alabama. If you've never been to Clayhatchee, it's one of those towns that's so small, when you drive through it, if you blink, you missed it because you didn't even know it was there. Um, I used to work night shifts, and I would come home anywhere between 2 o'clock and 3:30 in the morning, depending on how long it took us to close down the store. Um, I would get home, and we had a bay window on the front of the trailer. And almost every night when I was getting home, I would see shadows walking across the kitchen. And I was thinking to myself, what is Teresa doing up? So I go inside, no one's awake, but I know for a fact I saw these shadows from the ambient light in the kitchen. And I took a vacation, and this is where it kind of really got to me. Was I took a vacation, and my first night of vacation, I lay down to go to sleep. So I don't know if anyone listening to the show has ever experienced something that is known as sleep paralysis. Um, it is terrifying. I woke up at about 3 o'clock in the morning, couldn't move, and I felt this pressure on my neck as though I was being choked. when I was finally able to shake it off, and it seemed like an hour, but let's be honest, it was probably maybe 10, 15 seconds. I shook it off, sat up, and in our room, you couldn't see your hand like 2 inches in front of your face. And I saw this blacker than black silhouette standing at the foot of our bed. And as I was looking at it, I'm trying to process it in my brain, because at this point in time, I wasn't a paranormal investigator. I had just, read a few books when I was in school. And I see this figure drift backwards into the hallway. And when it hit the center of the hallway, the light bulb got extremely bright and shattered.
Okay.
It was the very next day that I went out and actually bought my first book for my paranormal library, which was Ghost by Hans Halser. And about a month after that, on July 6th of 2006, I founded the Southeastern Ghost Research Association. So I've been doing this now for a little bit over 20 years.
Okay. So you're basically self-taught, like many of us were, because there wasn't a whole lot back in those days.
Correct.
When did you start getting it? Do you use equipment? Let me ask you that. Do you use equipment?
I do, but I'm really old school. To me, the best tools you can have are your instincts, a voice recorder, and a pen and paper. I mean, yeah, you can have a camera and all that, and that's all great. I have a lot of the lights, that go blink, blink, bloop, bloop, all that good stuff. Do I trust it? Not necessarily, because there's so many external forces outside of our realm of comprehension that can set those things off. Good example, a REM pod. If you get too close to it with a two-way walk-in, you hit the button, guess what? The REM pod goes off. So it's one of those things where I have a lot of this equipment. Do I trust it? Not necessarily. I'm more of an old school guy. I love my voice recorder. I love my my digital camera, and my notebook, my pen, my instincts. That's what I base a lot of my investigation off of.
Well, you made an interesting comment about researching, being a researcher. What do you see that is the difference between a researcher and an investigator, and how do you look at teams out there now? Are they actually doing research and investigation?
That's a great question. So I call myself a researcher, and it's not necessarily in the fact that I'm saying other teams don't research, right? So you have your paranormal investigators, and you have what I call myself, which is a paranormal researcher. And that's because I research all aspects of the unknown. I look at UFOs. I look into cryptids. I even have a few books in my library on spontaneous human combustion. I look into all things that are unknown. To me, when it comes to the paranormal, it's like religion. They're broken up into sects. You have your ghost hunters or paranormal investigators. You have your cryptozoologists. You have your ufologists. And so you kind of take these and you combine them into one. And that's why I call myself a paranormal researcher, because I research all aspects of the unknown, not just one specific focus.
When you say research, tell me what you do to research, and then what do you do with the data that you gain?
So once again, it's another great question. I kind of had a feeling you were going to answer that or ask that question. So to give you an example, you have a lot of teams. Yeah, they go out and they do their history, right? Like they look into the location, they get, the basics for what they need to perform an investigation. When I research, one of my favorite places up here in New Hampshire is one state down. It's Medfield Hospital in Medfield, Massachusetts.
Right.
This is my research folder for Medfield State Hospital.
Now, what's in that research? Tell me what's in that research.
I have every single property record from 1912 until 1976. I could not find the rest of them. I have names of employees. I have a whole building layout on a map. I have a separate folder completely for the cemetery that's on site. I have the names of every single person that was buried in that cemetery and what they were admitted for. And for me, this is important information, because when I go out to these places and I'm doing what I do as far as having a voice recorder, or even for me, like I like to run paranormal applications. Do I trust them 100%? No, I don't. But they are kind of fun to use. And so me and my daughter went to Medfield State and we walked around the facility for about 5 hours, running different applications, right? Almost every single name that came to the application, whether it be a first name or last name, I was able to trace back to either one of the people that is found in these records or one of the people that's found in the cemetery.
Okay. So a lot of historical research.
Yes, I love history. History, when I wanted to go to college, I wanted to be a history major. I love history.
Okay. I want to ask you a little bit more about your research and some of the things that you do as far as keeping in that notebook and what you do to refer back to investigations. But we're going to need to take our first break. So folks, stay with us. I'm with Nathaniel Elwell from Paranormal Research up in New Hampshire. Stay with us. We'll be back right after these messages.
Are you looking for handcrafted quality that will stand the test of time? At Benchland Woodworking, beautiful wood creations are built with skill, passion, and attention to detail. From custom furniture and home decor to unique handcrafted pieces, every project is designed to bring warmth, character, and lasting beauty to your home. Whether you're searching for a one-of-a-kind gift or a custom piece made just for you, Benchland Woodworking delivers craftsmanship you can see and quality you can trust. Visit benchlandwoodworking.ca. Benchland Woodworking, handcrafted quality, timeless design, built to last. That's benchlandwoodworking.ca.
And we're back with my guest tonight, Nathaniel Elwell. Nate, interesting stuff, and I'm glad to see that you can't hear me. Okay. Testing 1, 2. Is it you or me? Can you hear me now? Master Controller, can you hear me by any chance? If you can, please let me. Okay, thank you. Well, at any rate, I'm talking with Nathaniel, and one of the big questions I like to ask, and hopefully we'll get him back in just a second, is are you a researcher, investigator, or what you call, or what I like to call, a paranormal thrill seeker? And it's important that folks realize that there's no real problem with any three of those. Nathaniel, are you back? But it is important as we expand the field of paranormal research. Nathaniel, are you back? Anyway, so that's the question I want to go on. There's a lot of folks out there that like to go out and enjoy the excitement of going to the graveyard, the cemetery, trying to make contact with the other side, because it's an innate, it's just in all of us. We want to know what is there after we're gone. And obviously things that we don't know or we don't understand, oftentimes we just have to find out. So that's the reason why, whether or not you're a thrill seeker, whether or not you're a researcher, is really important to differentiate, because a researcher is actually trying to find out what the phenomenon is and not the thrill.
Hey, Larry, this is Robert, Master Control. I thought I'd kind of step in here, buddy, and help.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, a little technical issue there.
Yeah, well, I can tell you that everything's going great on your end. The problem isn't with you. Unfortunately, your guest is no longer with us.
Yes. So, not in a permanent sense, though, right, Rob?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's what we talked a lot about on this show, are those that are no longer with us.
Oh, that way. No, I don't know. Maybe he's been abducted by an alien, getting an alien probe. I don't know. You know, it's strange things happen on your show, and that's what makes it so great.
It does. And you never know when we're going to get somebody on here and we have a technical issue like that. I mean, is it really a technical issue, or does somebody on the other side maybe not want them to continue? We don't know, but that's some of the things that we find out. But maybe, Rob, you can toss in your thoughts into this issue of researcher versus thrill seeker.
Well, you see, there's, in my opinion, Larry, there's a big difference from the difference between a researcher and a thrill seeker. For example, you and I are both ex-cops.
Yes, yeah.
We've gone through the proper way of conducting research. We've gone through the proper way of collecting evidence. We've gone through the way of, it's what we have done is we have applied what we learned in police work to here when doing a paranormal investigation. So researcher to me is someone who has taken a bona fide course or has bona fide experience as a researcher. And the same would apply as people who call themselves investigators.
Mm-hmm.
It upsets me to hear people in the paranormal world call themselves researchers, investigators, when they have no idea what
that means.
Real research. That's right. Yeah.
Don't know what that, and that's an issue, Rob, that I have been trying to bring to the forefront. And I don't personally, this is just me now, I don't personally have a problem with folks that want to go out and just get that thrill. Hey, and you've heard me say this before. Why do people jump out of a perfectly good airplane? I sure as heck wouldn't do it, but people do it for the thrill of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I have no issue with that at all. But you've got to know the difference, and you've got to know what you are and what you are not.
Exactly. And you know what? I've had the pleasure of working with you and the pleasure of meeting your teammates. Mm-hmm. And what you have done with your teammates is you've given them, let's call it what it is, investigative courses. You've given them the proper way how to collect evidence, how to catalog the evidence, how to maintain the integrity of the evidence. And this is something that you and a very few other teams do, especially, there's a lot of teams out there that are formed by ex-policemen.
Yes, there are. That number's growing, I might add.
Oh, yes. And you know what this is doing? It's getting the proper evidence collection done, the cataloging, and they want to share the information. Because when you and I were cops, if we were here in Canada, it was CPIC, Canadian Police Information Center. I believe in the States it's NCIC.
NCIC, yep.
Okay. Where if you're in Florida, and if there was something that was similar to the case you were working on, let's say in the state of Washington, you could communicate that evidence was there to you. You could actually contact that agency and find out. But when it comes to the paranormal, it seems that everybody is doing everything on their own because they're all hoping to get that $150,000 TV contract. That never happens.
It never happens. And I really think, and this is just my opinion, that is actually becoming a smaller issue. I don't think people are nobody's going to be the next ghost hunter. I think folks are starting to get that. But what they're not getting is it's mine, and I still want to be the boss. I still want to be the center. So while it's maybe not the big contract, I'm still the big fish in my little pond. Hate to put it that way, but that's the way I see it.
Or they like to have the reputation of being this great ghost hunter, this great investigator, this great researcher, and that's not what it's all about.
It's not. And and the other issue, along with sharing the information, another big bugaboo of mine, and I could talk about this for hours. It's the training.
What training?
Exactly. Exactly. Now, I am not saying I certainly do not have all the answers, and I'm willing to learn from other folks that have had success using other techniques or procedures or protocols. But what we all have to do is get together and come up with a plan that we all can find acceptable and work with, and be willing to learn from somebody else's way of doing it. Maybe your way isn't the best way. Maybe my way isn't the best way. But I'll come up with a protocol and have us actually conducting investigations, not exactly the same way, but in a similar format. So when you collect evidence up in Washington State, and we collect evidence down here in Florida, it's legit because it's
Yep.
both been collected the same way. And the way I like to talk about it, and you've heard me mention this before too, is if you investigated a homicide up in Washington and down here in little old Vero Beach, Florida, other than some procedural issues, maybe some legal issues from state to state, we still investigate the homicide the same way.
Exactly. There's standards.
Standards. That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where my frustration is, because I talk about this and people automatically say, well, you're telling me to investigate like you. And no, hear what I'm saying, folks.
But they don't want to hear what you're saying, Larry. You know, and I agree with you 100%. There should be a standardization, because when a standardization of procedures, standardization of policies, standardization of the evidence, the collection of evidence, the sharing of evidence, an open database that can be shared by all members of what I would call a credible investigative team. But it seems, Larry, now I've been doing this show for 35 years now.
Man, that's a long time.
Yeah. It seems that what these people are trying to do is just, cover as many different aspects of the paranormal that they can in order to make them fit into a jigsaw puzzle that just doesn't work.
And part of that is going back to something you mentioned earlier, is that they don't understand what investigation means, the word investigation term, or research. And I'm going to take a softer approach here, my friend. Okay. I'm going to say they don't really understand. Maybe their heart is in the right place, but they don't really understand that to call yourself an investigator or research, to investigate is to investigate to come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
To research is to find the answers that allow you to come to a conclusion.
Or to find the evidence that brings you to the conclusion.
Exactly, right? Exactly. And I don't think folks really understand that, because they've watched the TV shows. Now, TV shows, once again, in my opinion, did a lot to bring this whole phenomenon to the forefront, make it a lot less, behind the closed doors, that guy's a nut for doing that. And it's much more acceptable now. So TV shows have done that. But it's just like cop shows. People, when I was on the job, I'm sure it happened with you, you lifted a fingerprint at a burglary. Well, put it into your machine and you can tell who did it right away. Well, no, that's not how it works. Well, that's how I saw it in NCIC.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened with this paranormal community. People watched the TV shows. They read a couple of books.
Yeah.
And they just went right out. They saw a couple of TV shows and they went out there and they started doing it. And they don't really understand. They think they do, and their heart might be in the right place, but they don't really understand what it truly, truly means.
Plus, everybody wants to have their own podcast, whether it's video or audio. And what they've successfully done is inundated the market with a lot of crap, because there's a lot of people out there who shouldn't be allowed.
Are you calling my show crap?
No.
Okay.
If I did, you and I wouldn't be talking right now.
I understand. I'm just.
Yeah, I know you are, buddy. But what they've done is successfully inundated the different platforms and given the people who seriously want to know how to become paranormal investigators or paranormal researchers, how to form a team with so many different opinions that these poor people don't know which way to turn.
That's well said. That's well said. And having some sort of structure, foundation, to framework to put this all into is going to give people direction. It's going to give folks training, and we can begin to find the answer. Now, we're about ready to take our break here, about a minute and a half.
Okay.
When we get back, you are UFO guy. You've been so deep into so much of the paranormal for all your years on the show. You have you're the. I want to talk to you about UFOs. That's what I'm getting at. I don't know why I got tongue tied there. I do know why, and you know why too. But
you sure you don't want to tell the audience why? No, let's not do that.
No, it's not. I want to talk about how what we're describing connects with the UFO world, because you have talked to some of the biggest names in the UFO world. You've heard their stories. You've heard both sides of it. And I want to know how this structure and training concept that I have for the ghost paranormal side.
Right.
Because I personally think all of it, anything outside normal is paranormal.
That's true.
I want to talk with you about how all of this concept that I have, that I would like to see in my side of it, how that fits into the UFO world. So when we get back from our break, I'd like to go into that with you.
My pleasure.
All right. So with that, folks, my new guest, Rob McConnell, is with me. We're going to talk UFOs right after this break, so stay with us. More to come.
Are you looking for handcrafted quality that will stand the test of time? At Benchland Woodworking, beautiful wood creations are built with skill, passion, and attention to detail. From custom furniture and home decor to unique handcrafted pieces, every project is designed to bring warmth, character, and lasting beauty to your home. Whether you're searching for a one-of-a-kind gift or a custom piece made just for you, Benchland Woodworking delivers craftsmanship you can see and quality you can trust. Visit benchlandwoodworking.ca. Benchland Woodworking, handcrafted quality, timeless design, built to last. That's benchlandwoodworking.ca.
We are back with my guest, Master Control himself. At least that's what I'm supposed to call him, is Master Control. Rob McConnell, the man, the myth, the legend. So glad to have you with me, Rob, because we can talk about so much.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
And I want to really get into this UFO thing. Now, I mean, it has really come to the forefront with all the stuff that's coming out of Washington right now. Not some other countries are talking about it. Dr. Stephen Greer is an interesting, if not polarizing individual.
Oh, yeah.
But this world of ufology, UFO investigation, are they any different than those of us that investigate the spiritual side of it?
Absolutely not, Larry. An investigation, excuse me, an investigation is an investigation. Whether you're investigating a break-in and entry, whether you're investigating a homicide, or whether you're investigating a drowning, for example, the way to proceed with an investigation doesn't change just because the topic does or the crime does.
Agreed.
Yeah. The collection of evidence, the photographing of evidence, the interviewing of witnesses, the doing the research, nothing changes. Absolutely nothing. And if anybody thinks that investigating a UFO sighting or UFO landing is any different from investigating a ghost haunting or any other aspect of the paranormal, they're all the same. It's the policy, it's the procedure, it's the practice that goes into the investigation that is the same in each and every case.
Well, you take MUFON, for example.
Okay.
It's probably the most widely known UFO investigative body.
Yeah.
Do they have a protocol? Do they have a structure that allows for collecting of evidence properly and sharing it properly?
They sure do.
Okay.
They certainly do. It's not very different from what we try to do with the Canadian Registry of Paranormal Activity. And of course, you're the gentleman who handles the ghost cases with us. It's, MUFON does a great job. It trains their field investigators. There's ongoing courses. There's the open flow of information. There's, the information on sightings are shared throughout the MUFON community. that's something that is lacking within the rest of the paranormal community. There are some Bigfoot organizations that are trying it, and I don't know how successful they are. And this is why, Larry, it's so important that what you are trying to do, in my opinion, is going to get paranormal investigations, specifically in ghost hauntings, poltergeist, and so on, to the next step where it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Because there has to be there doesn't have to be. Let me rephrase that, or else I'm going to get all the crazy emails that you usually do. Continuity. You know, the people in Alabama investigate the same way as the people in New York, and the people in New York the same way as they do in Vero Beach, and so on. You've got it right on. You hit the nail right on the head when you said this has to be standardized. And when people that you've talked to and I talk to who can't see what we're trying to get accomplished, they've got no business doing any type of investigation, whether it's a paranormal investigation or an investigation to find out whose dog pooped on your lawn.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. I've heard rumors that the MUFON organization is not as strong as it used to be. Has that? Where are they? Do you know right now? Do you know what?
Yeah. A lot of the main figures in MUFON have sadly passed. Stanton Friedman, for example. I had the pleasure of knowing Stan and working with him a few times. A great guy. I may not have agreed with him on many things, but he was always ready to listen and, in a calm, cool, collective manner, discuss the different points of view. Now, just getting off of Stanton Friedman for a minute and the other investigators that are there, over the years, the number of people joining MUFON has decreased. There's not as many people that go to the MUFON symposiums.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest reason for that, in my opinion, there's two reasons. Number one, they've started to diversify.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting to bring in other aspects of New Age phenomena into the UFO realm without any specific proof that it is tied to any other aspect of the New Age. For example, there are those who believe that UFOs have something to do with multi-dimensions, multi-universes, wormholes, black holes. And there are those who want to bring in the Bigfoot element, the Mothman element, and so on. And personally, I think that what they're doing connecting the Bigfoot element is because of Star Wars. And what was the name of that big, what was it?
Wookiee.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So
Chewbacca, that's his name.
Chewbacca, that's right. And the numbers of MUFON were falling. So in my opinion, they brought in this other aspect to try and bring their numbers back up.
Well, you know,
that's my opinion.
Okay. And I was with you for the longest time. I for the longest time, I looked at it when the dimensional question first came out. I immediately thought people were just trying to reinvent themselves. Not 100% sure about that anymore.
Why is that?
Right up front, gut feeling. I have nothing to base it on, and I think that's where people have to be careful of. First of all, I know there are things out there we can't explain, and I'm just once again giving you my opinion. Certainly. I used to have a stick up my hind end that everything had to be perfect. Every evidence had to be so.
Oh, that's how we were trained.
That's how we were trained, exactly. I have personally expanded a little bit, or evolved, maybe is a better word. There are some things that we can't explain. There are some things that we don't know.
Yeah.
And that's one reason why I keep doing this, is because I keep coming across things I can't explain logically based upon my training and background. So this dimensional issue, is more of a gut feeling for me right now, because there's a lot of good people out there that have experienced UFOs.
There are.
There are people that I consider to be intelligent and well-read that believe in cryptids.
Yeah.
I've never seen one. I don't know. But one thing I have learned from being a cop, Rob, is the second I close my mind and stop looking at all the possibilities is when my cases go cold.
Yeah.
So I am trying. I have a much more open mind than I did 15, 20 years ago. However, that does not negate the fact that we still, if we're going to find the answers, that we still need to collect the evidence and analyze it and find out what the answers are from that evidence.
I agree with you 150%. But as you will know, in major centers, there are detectives that are specifically assigned to different squads because their expertise lies within the squad that they're attached to. You'll have special investigators in homicide, robberies, breaking and entries. And their specialty is because they've taken courses in this and they've studied it left, right, and center. Plus, they've worked on them for a great number of years. And my reasoning is okay, why would a break and enter
or burglary
cop or burglary
detective
be given an assignment to work as a homicide detective with no experience? They're both police officers. They both went through the same training at the academy. They've all gone through their bit with their field training officer. But after all these years, one specializes in burglary and the other specializes in homicide. And I think that's the way the UFO community, the paranormal community, should start off, where you have specifics working on specific cases. Now, if there is evidence that leads to another aspect of the paranormal, then bring in somebody who specializes in that aspect and run a joint investigation. This way here, the UFO investigator continues his investigation on the UFO case while the, Bigfoot researcher continues his, starts the investigation on the Bigfoot, thereby not splitting the amount of time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a thing. I don't know if you remember this term, a nexus. Is there a nexus between the two?
Right.
And that's why my feeling is a gut feeling. But you're 100% right. I'll agree with you on this, that we need to find what that nexus is between the two.
Yes.
And the only way we're going to do this is A, by talking, and by B, having some level of standardization in training. And you're right. I mean, I was a detective when I was on the line.
Yeah.
Don't ask me to do a DUI. I have actually a bad memory of me trying to do a DUI after I'd spent 25 years as a detective, and it was scary. But that, I think, not to be funny, but that does illustrate your point. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly, Ed. I think that as this another thing I think happened, Larry, and you'll have to excuse me if I'm jumping, because I'm watching 4 screens and doing some other stuff as I'm talking to you here. The paranormal industry exploded too fast.
Oh, I would agree with you.
Everybody wanted to become a paranormal investigator. Everybody wanted to solve a case. Everybody wanted to prove life after death. UFOs are real. Bigfoot is real. And the list goes on and on and on. But what has happened over that time, and I've seen it over 35 years doing my own show, nothing has been proven. In 35 years, nothing has been proven. The mysteries have grown. But let's take UFOs, for example, Larry. There's no evidence that UFOs are real.
Well, there's a lot of people that would disagree with you, and they say they've got the evidence. So,
well, what is the evidence they have?
Okay, that's, I guess that is the question. Do you think
Hmm?
that some of this whistleblower stuff that's been happening in Washington, do you think that's actually going to eventually come out and we're going to see this evidence?
No, sir. I don't think that evidence exists,
Okay.
because as long as there is the possibility that there are UFOs and that what people are seeing are UFOs, the U.S. government and any other government where these UFOs are being seen have the great opportunity of John Q. Public creating its own mask of what is really happening.
Mhm.
You know, it's just like the USOs off the coast of California. That was proven to be underwater drones that were being tested by the United States government.
Okay, now that's an interesting question, and we're actually coming up on our last
Oh,
break.
okay.
But when we get back, I'd like to talk about that evidence
Sure.
because I don't think if that evidence is out there, I'd like to know about it myself. So, folks, stay with us. Really hot topic here. Stay with me with my guest, Mr. Master Control himself, Rob McConnell. We'll be back after this break.
Are you looking for handcrafted quality that will stand the test of time? At Benchland Woodworking, beautiful wood creations are built with skill, passion, and attention to detail. From custom furniture and home decor to unique handcrafted pieces, every project is designed to bring warmth, character, and lasting beauty to your home. Whether you're searching for a one-of-a-kind gift or a custom piece made just for you, Benchland Woodworking delivers craftsmanship you can see and quality you can trust. Visit benchlandwoodworking.ca. Benchland Woodworking, handcrafted quality, timeless design, built to last. That's benchlandwoodworking.ca.
And we are back with my guest tonight, Rob McConnell. I want to take a second. If you folks would like to find out a little bit more about my operation, my organization, you can check us out on Facebook at Indian River Hauntings or the Florida Bureau of Paranormal Investigation. You can check out some of our stuff on YouTube at Indian River Hauntings 2341. And you can also reach me on, check us out on our website, www.indianriverhauntings.com. And of course, you can always find Mr. McConnell here on CanCom. And I'd like to say hello to all of our viewers out there on the network. So getting back to our question at hand,
Mm-hmm.
and you brought this up, and I've thought about this several times. I hear folks on the other side saying, well, they've proven it's, in this case, underwater drones.
Yeah.
What's the proof?
I've seen them.
Okay.
Okay, I've seen them from the different manufacturers. I've seen the test footage. In
Mhm.
fact, we did an entire 2-page spread of this in the X-Chronicles newspaper. We published the photos.
Mhm.
We published the link to the videos. It's all there. It had nothing to do with underwater UFOs. Well, yeah, it was an underwater UFO because nobody knew what they were doing. It's just like the TikToks. I believe that they're just experimental drones or craft. I don't think it's anything from outer space. In fact, I've spent many hours going through the videos and photographs that the U.S. government released over the last couple of months.
Mhm.
Nothing.
But I'm going to throw this at you.
All right.
And I trust your judgment. You've been looking
Okay.
at these photos. You've been looking, and you're convinced that they're not true. But do you actually have the evidence? Have you talked to somebody? Have you seen something that tells you?
Oh God, yes.
Okay.
I've spoken to CIA officers
Mhm.
who have knowledge of what is going on. T.D. Barnes was a CIA contractor over at Area 51. and Skunkworks.
Mhm.
And he's been on our show, and he has said unequivocal, there are no aliens at Area 51. There are no UFOs at Area 51. It's just a bunch of hype. It's a bunch of garbage. And why these people believe this stuff is beyond me. So the evidence is out there. Plus, let's use our common sense, okay? A lot of people believe that we are using reverse engineering from UFOs.
That's the Stephen Greer theory. Yep.
Well, Stephen Greer should have kept to being a dentist or an emergency room doctor. I forget which one he was. Anyway, if there is such a thing as reverse engineering, why are we still using solid rocket propulsion to get into outer space? Why did we have to send 3 men and a lady around the far side of the moon? Wouldn't we already have the technology to do that without going through all this rigmarole? The facts speak for themselves. We just have to see, take a look and say, well, if there is reverse engineering, why do we not have this, that, or the other thing? People have said, well, we didn't have fiber optics before. Oh, yes, we did. Well, we didn't have Kevlar. Oh, yes, we did. We didn't have computers. Oh, yes, we did.
So
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, finish. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I was just going to say the proof that the reverse engineering theory is nothing else but a bunch of bunk is out there if you want to believe it. You see, I've also got a theory here that it's the UFO community that wants to keep the UFO conspiracy theory alive. Because without the UFO conspiracy theory, you've got a lot of people who can't write books anymore. You've got a lot of people who aren't going to be putting out these videos anymore. Because without the conspiracy theory, the truth is there and bango. What are you going to talk about?
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's your assertion that the entire UFO phenomenon is man-made, if you will.
I would say that 99.5% has nothing to do with extraterrestrial craft, and that 0.5 is just something we haven't identified yet.
Then taking that 45%, is it possible that there is something unexplained about that 0.5% that would indicate there is something that we don't yet understand as far as coming from another planet or even another dimension? Is it possible that,
it is possible. It is possible, but it's also possible on the other side of the coin that it has nothing to do with the multiverse, multi-dimensions, that it could just be that next step or next generation of craft that the government has created that is supposed to be, classified.
Okay.
And when it comes to the whistleblowers, if you are a member of the military and you take an oath of secrecy, and then later on, for some reason, you decide to start exposing or whistleblowing on topics, I give you no credibility whatsoever. Because if you're going to break your oath to your government, what the hell? What kind of person are you?
Well, and their argument would be, not saying I agree, but their argument would be that the truth needs to be out there. But
what truth do they provide? They don't provide any evidence. They don't provide any pictures. They don't provide any physical evidence.
why do you think that there's several members of Congress, and I believe the Senate also, that have said that they are aware of things that have happened? Why do you think they would do that? Just for political gain?
No, because they have no idea what it is.
Okay, so they're getting the wool pulled over their eyes.
Well, no, not necessarily. It's maybe they just don't know what it is. Nobody's pulling the wool over their eyes. They see a strange light in the sky, and maybe they think it's a UFO, and it could actually be a planet. Who knows?
Well, I guess I'm saying some of them have said that they've been privy to some of the things that have been kept by the government. They found out they've been.
It's funny that I've never heard Senator Kelly talk about UFOs. And if anybody was to give the UFO community any credibility in the government, it would be Senator Kelly, who is
an established.
Yeah.
So would you agree that there's some genuine people out there that claim they have seen something? Not all of them can be nuts and making it up. So is it possible? I don't know how you feel about the dimensional issue. Is it possible things are going interdimensionally? Do you have any agreement with that theory?
I don't know enough about it.
Okay. As neither do I. That's why
I really don't. Just like with all the people when it comes to alien abductions, cattle mutilations,
blue cats.
Huh?
Never mind. Old show.
Oh,
from an old show. I had a guest that talked about blue cats, blue cat aliens.
Oh, is that the same guest that talked about the UFOs the size of a football field?
No, that was another one. But
that was Andrea Perron, right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, it's Larry. Yes, there are mysteries out there. But when it comes to the UFOs, I'm sorry, that 35 years of doing this, and nobody has come up with anything that is even close to evidence. And this old saying by the UFO community, well, there's enough evidence that if you brought it into court, that they would win 51%.
That's not how it's done in court.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And yet the people who talk the most are the people who have the least amount of information or evidence that they would even consider sharing.
Mm-hmm. And that goes back to our original premise, is sharing the evidence so we can find the answers.
Yeah,
so
notice how we did that, eh?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. Now, let's in our last few minutes, just tell me where you think, and let's put the paranormal field into the big bucket, including cryptids and UFOs and ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
What's the future of it, in your opinion?
It's going to fizzle out.
Okay.
Because people will understand, or people are starting to realize that at the end of the day, so what?
But don't you think that it is just natural for the human animal, the human creature, to want to try and find the answers to things that they don't understand? And there's no greater mystery, speaking from the ghost angle, what happens after we pass this earth. So based upon that, do you really think that this is going to completely fizzle out, or is it eventually going to end up just a foundation of hardcore folks that are truly trying to find out what the answers are?
People ask me why I do my show.
Mm-hmm.
Because they say, Rob, you're very negative and you're very, you sound like you're a non-believer. You're right, I am. I am a non-believer, but I want to believe. That's why I keep doing this. I want to find the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what is truly out there. But when it comes to what you were asking, Larry, I think in today's world, there are much more things that need our attention than.
Can't argue there.
Yeah, like there are more people hungry. There are more people without homes. There are more people not being able to get an education. You've got a political scene that is totally out of control. we've got a war going on in between the Ukraine and Russia. Russia's now looking at invading Poland. We've got the United States at war with Iran. Then you've got the president who is talking about taking Greenland away from Denmark again. This is what's happening. People are saying, you know what? All right. Ghosts are going to be there at the end of all this. So let's take care of the problem that affect us on a daily basis so that we will be able to, at one time in the near future, I hope, get back to chasing ghosts and looking for things that go bump the night.
And because I believe that people will always want to search to find those answers. And also I can't negate or not consider the fact maybe this is just a way for some people to get their minds off the horror of the world that we have in front of us right now.
What did you call it? Tourism?
Well, there certainly is paranormal tourism,
Yeah.
but also paranormal thrill seeking. That's the
Thrill seeking. Yeah.
thrill seeking, because sometimes, but so I think that's a huge part of it now, that also may take people's minds off of it. But also I do believe, and give you my final thoughts, I do believe that there's just something inside the human creature that beckons to us to find the answers.
Okay. I will agree with you 100% on that. But if that something inside of us is wanting to find out about UFOs, to find out about Bigfoot, to find out about ghosts, then why are we not all
together
seeking the same thing?
And that, my friend, is the foundation of what we're talking about. Let's get together and go where the evidence takes us. If it's not there, let the evidence prove it.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm all about. And with that, unfortunately, we're out of time. But I appreciate you stepping in to help me out tonight, my friend.
No problem.
Thank you all. And folks, I want to thank all of you for being with us tonight. Great show. Please check us out on our website and our YouTube channel, and look at all the other great programming here on the CamCon Broadcast Network. And until we meet again, folks, take care of yourselves, hug your family, and we'll see you on the other side. Have a good night.
Oh my God. Turn your microphone back on, Larry.
Right there. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Did we save it at least?
I'll see what I can do with it. His audio and video were off. Like the guy's a nut. That's why I ended up blocking him from coming on, because I didn't want to go on and off, on and off, on and
Well,
off.
I'm gonna call him in a minute and say, look, you just weren't coming on, and and he's an idiot, and I'm gonna have a long talk with shit. He was. No, here's a guy that Rob Demer's saying he does the real pot. No, he doesn't. He's drinking on the air. He's wearing a t-shirt, I will, my next guest, which will be in 2 weeks, will either have a headphone and a microphone, or I ain't doing it. I agree with you. I'm sorry. This will absolutely not happen again.
The best part is I got to spend an extra hour with you.
That's true. We did. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, go back to Laura.
No.
Enjoy your evening.
No.
Okay. Who is my next guest?
I don't know, buddy.
I'll look it up here. I know I've got a list of them. I'm actually
okay. And when you sit back in your chair, your audio goes off. You need to stay closer.
Yeah, I know. I caught myself doing it a couple of times tonight.
Yeah. And lower the microphone.
Oh, like that.
Yeah, that's where it goes, because it should be lining up with your mouth. It wasn't. It was shooting out. It was up higher. Yeah, up your nose with a rubber hose.
All right. Well, hopefully this wasn't a total disaster, buddy. And the next one, microphone headset or we don't do it. So don't
When
worry.
is it? Next week or in 2
No,
weeks?
week after, 2 weeks.
Okay.
Weeks.
All right, old friend. I will let you go for now. Stay out of trouble, Larry.
See you,
Bye.
buddy.
All right. Take care. Love to everybody.
All right. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye now.